You know, before we even begin today, I'd like to apologize for having this review out so late. And yes, you guessed it, this is my Bleach chapter review for this week. So, you know, today I'm not going to do any edits or any jump cuts because I've delayed this long enough. You guys don't need it to be delayed anymore by any intros or anything. For those of my new subscribers who don't know me, my name is Shimigami X, aka your Captain X, and I'm here today to give you my weekly review of Bleach chapter 579, entitled The Undead 6. But before we get into that, this is a very unusual situation for me, in the sense that I never ever push out a review this late. Normally, if my review is going to be out this late, I wouldn't even bother at all. I'll probably do 2 chapters when the next chapter comes out, which I have done in the past when I first started the channel, where I would review the latest chapter that just came out first and the previous chapter so that my subscribers don't miss out on any content. So anyways, don't worry guys, this isn't a something that happens a lot, but as you know, I'm in the last term of uni. There's a lot of work going on, and secondly, that's not the only reason why this review's out late. The second reason is that I'm actually conducting a little bit of an experiment here, because I came to think about things like, okay, if everybody pushes their review out on the same day, what is the likelihood that new subscribers and all that are going to end up seeing my video? It's unlikely. But if I push it out like maybe a couple of days later, you know, it's more likely to be seen by my subscribers in general, because I know that my subscribers look at our reviewers naturally, because I'm not the only person who does this. I'm not the best person who does this either, and I fully accept that. But as for new subscribers, wouldn't it be, I'm sure I'd probably gain a lot more traffic if I do it on a later date. But anyways, that's nothing to do with you guys. That's just a little experiment I'm conducting just this once. We're going to see how things go. Anyways, let's get into the chapter review. I'm not going to bother a recap because I never do, because by the time I do my review, you guys have already read the chapter. So anyways, let's get right into the nitty gritty. Alright, before we even dive into everything completely, I'd like to say that I am glad Grimmy is dead. I called it, other reviewers have called it, you probably called it too. I'm glad he is dead. And I personally think that the fight between him and Kenpachi was a mismatch, in my personal opinion. Alright, I do see what Kubo was trying to do with the battle. I see that basically, with somebody who has a power of the magnitude of Kenpachi Zaraki, you need to have an opponent that is able to demonstrate that power on. Like, for example, he could fight any other Stern Rider that maybe have the power of, like, I don't know, gas. We already had heat, you know, so any random ridiculous power. But during that battle, all that would happen is that basically Kenpachi would just slash up that person, or maybe get battered and tattered a little bit, but then it wouldn't then be able to demonstrate Zaraki Kenpachi's destructive capacity. And that's one of the things that are key to Kenpachi Zaraki in terms of, like, you know, where we put him in terms of a character, is how powerful exactly is he. Alright, now let's clear some things up. A lot of people are saying that, oh yeah, basically the reason Grimmy died is because he tried to imagine the unimaginable, that he couldn't imagine anything being stronger than Zaraki Kenpachi. That wasn't the case. What the problem was, and it was just displayed in this chapter, was that he was able to gauge Zaraki Kenpachi's power perfectly, which I somewhat disagree with, because as far as I know, Shikais tend to have more than just, you know, one ability, in the case minus a few characters. But, you know, we don't know if this Shikai is the full Shikai of Zaraki Kenpachi, as in we don't know if that's all it can do, because we haven't seen it do anything other than slash up a giant meteor and, you know, swing and slash it. We don't know what its actual unique ability is, unless it's just a power type. But all of this hasn't really been confirmed yet. But nonetheless, I'm digressing a little bit. Basically, the battle seems like a mismatch, because although we got to see that, yeah, Kenpachi can slash a meteor, the type of opponent that Kenpachi was facing, Grimmy, didn't suit, or Grimmy wasn't portrayed very well in order to be able to push Kenpachi past his limits, or push Kenpachi to his new limits, I should say. Because we see in the battle that he didn't once even take off the eye patch, which I have kind of some gripes with, because wasn't the whole purpose in fighting Unohana was to release his restraints and shackles, but then yet in this battle he's still using restraints and shackles by using the eye patch. So doesn't that then defeat the purpose of Unohana dying in the first place? Some people can disagree with me and say that, okay, yeah, it was to fight so he can finally reveal the name of his Shikai. Fair enough, yeah, that could be the case, it probably is the case, it is the case, but you didn't need to lose Unohana for that to happen, if he's still going to end up using the eye patch in, you know, later fights anyway, or later on throughout his life. It just doesn't make any sense. The whole purpose of that battle between him and Unohana wasn't just to learn the name of Shikai. It was for character development for Zaraki Kenpachi himself. You know, finally stop restraining himself, and, you know, just eventually accepting the title that was bestowed upon him by Unohana herself. That was just generally the purpose of that fight. There's deeper meanings to it that we all already know, but Nonetheless, I do think it's somewhat disappointing that he still has the eye patch on after this fight and during this fight even, and like that. Also, I'd just like to say that the character Gremmy sucked. I'm sorry, you guys feel free to disagree with me. I know there might be a few odd to Gremmy fans out there, but I hated the character. The guy sucked. Let's just keep it real. Nonetheless, now let's move into what I think is the most important or the most impactful part of this chapter. Alright, after the battle's all done and whatnot, we see, like, you know, the members of Squad 11, or the fodder of Squad 11, I should say, run up to Zaraki Kenpachi and just be like, oh yeah, well done, Captain, blah, blah, blah. But then he notices that Yachiru is not there. Which I find somewhat kind of funny, that he would assume that Yachiru would be there when he sent her away to get healed by Isane. That's another thing, hold that point. But then he then notices her Hiyori and her lieutenant badge on the floor. Now that is what I think is kind of disturbing. I find that even more interesting, the fact that Gremmy is just a brain at all the end of this, because it then leads to a lot of speculation and a lot of rumors and stuff. So okay, let's deal with the first rumor and most things that people are wondering about. Are Kensei and Rose really dead? In my personal opinion, I think they are well and truly dead, and my reasons for that are this: is because although, if you guys remember a few chapters ago, Gremmy did say, hey, listen, I know there are things that counter against this, but let's just go with this example for the meantime. Remember when Gremmy summoned the meteor? He said that even if you kill me, that, you know, the meteor will still be there. Now, we don't know if he was lying in this situation, but I believe that basically foreshadows something that, okay, it maybe is different in terms of physical objects, like, you know, that platform that he raised was all destroyed, all the blood that was you know, part of his body that he imagined was destroyed. So I'm a bit confused, and maybe you guys can, like, you know, clear things up here, because it doesn't really make sense. You got on one hand Gremmy saying that, okay, you know, even if you destroy this meteor, this is several chapters ago, by the way, that even if you destroy this meteor, it's still going to be there. It's still going, even if you destroy me, sorry, this meteor is still going to be there. It's still going to crash everything. It's a real thing now. Okay, fair enough. We see that the damage that's inflicted upon Zaraki Kenpachi is well and truly real. He's battered, his organs are damaged, and is partially deaf, only because of the explosion, probably recover in time. So that means the effects of what Gremmy does stay there. But then it seems that when Gremmy dies, what actually happened is no longer there. So that's where this confusion comes into play, like whether or not you know, Kensei and Rose are really dead. Because on the one hand, if the damage that Gremmy can cause stays there, then that means the damage that is caused to Kensei and Rose, which ultimately resulted in their death, will still be there. You see what I'm saying? But then on the other hand now, if things like such as, you know, his blood and, you know, his body and, you know, even the stage that he summoned was completely destroyed, like completely gone after he was destroyed, doesn't that then mean that the effects of what he done to the environment are still there? So doesn't that then mean Kensei and Rose could then be alive that way? So the way it seems to work to me is this, is that things that he does to the environment, such as, like, you know, the space-time hole after he closed it, etc, etc, the meteor, the stage, basically any, like, damage, any environmental effects that he creates that affect the landscape seem to stay there. But when it comes to, yes, it seems to disappear, sorry, not stay there, it seems to disappear. So it's kind of confusing because his character is so badly written. So any environmental effects that happens seems to disappear once Gremmy is destroyed. But anything physical seems to stay there, and and what backs that up is the damage that is done to Zaraki Kenpachi. So in that instance, I'm going to go and then say that Kensei and Rose are well and truly dead. Now, as for what's happened with Yachiru, I have no idea. I really don't. I really don't. It's actually confusing. I'd be guessing just as much as you are, because people are saying that, oh yeah, maybe Yachiru has always been a figment of Kenpachi Zaraki's imagination. No. That'd be complete bogus, because other Soul Reapers can feel her spiritual pressure. Other Soul Reapers and stuff can interact with her. Ichigo got kicked the hell out of by her. So that kind of defeats that. So that's just, get out of the window, get out of here. So that's what I find kind of strange, is that the aftermath of Gremmy's powers are very strange. And I personally just think the character is very badly written. Even in the sense of what his powers are. Yeah, fair enough, the guy that could imagine anything. But there's been several instances, and even Tekken 101 made a video about this, of all the different things Gremmy could have done to destroy Zaraki Kenpachi throughout that entire battle. But anyways, that's me digressing. Now let's continue with the chapter now. Okay. Actually, other than that, there's not really much more to talk about other than the fact that, yeah, Gremmy's now dead. Oh yeah, also the fact that he's a brain. Now, Another thing that confuses me, now that we know that he's just a brain and the body that was around him, that the character Gremmy we physically saw, was nothing but a figment of the brain's imagination. Does that mean that that brain is well and truly dead? So has that ability now gone back to Juha? We don't know. We don't know. You know, I'm gonna call that, yeah, Gremmy. The character of Gremmy is well and truly done. It's done. But you know, whether he's really and truly dead and whatnot, we don't know, because it was never quite illustrated and shown. But I'm gonna go with the fact that, you know, he's toast, he's done, he's cooked. Now let's move on. We have Bambietta's crew, and I can't remember all of their names, but I know it's like Star Knight T, the girl that does the thunder business. Yeah, they took out, you know, those fodder Shinigami because they're all in one location. Now, as for next week, I don't even think it's going to stick with this fight. I don't see even though Zaraki Kenpachi is a bit beat up and stuff right now, I don't really see him having a problem against these 4 Star Knights, because before Zaraki even got his power up, do you guys remember that he took out 3 Star Knights, had them on his back, impaled with his sword when he's going to fight Juha for the first time? Well, the fake Juha, Lloyd, whatever his name is. So, with all that being said, I don't think that these 4 female Star Knights are going to cause, you know, any kind of significant damage to Kenpachi, or even if they hold him up a little bit because he's battered and tattered, they're not going to defeat him. So, you know, I personally think that it's maybe going to skip to another fight, skip to another character, like, you know, maybe what's going on with Renji and Nanana, because most people have forgotten about that by now. What's going on with Rukia and Byakuya, that is Byakuya going to fight a new Star Knight or whatnot. Who else? I don't think we're going to see Ichigo come down for like several chapters now. Like, I'm talking maybe a good 20, 30 chapters. I don't think we're going to see Ichigo. Ichigo seems to be taking his time, his sweet, ever-loving time. So maybe we'll move on to another captain. So, you know, whoever the captains are left, you know, like what's going on with Mayuri, who's asking, like, going to go fight next. We don't know. Maybe we can even get a backstory. I would really like to see a backstory of Gremmy's character, like, you know, how he came to be about that brain. It came to be about just being a brain, and how his powers work exactly, and, you know, just maybe just some detailed backstory. Not even like a full chapter on it, maybe like, you know, a page or something that just gives me a brief outline so I can understand better, you can understand better, so when we're evaluating the series, when it's well and truly done, you know, we're not all well confused and arguing about something that, you know, quite evidently was just never explained very well. Anyways, guys, again, I'd like to apologize for having this review out late. So again, I apologize on my part because I'm conducting a little bit of an experiment, and at the same time I don't apologize because at the end of the day I am studying for a degree, and, you know, those things do take time and they take hard work to get. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my chapter review. It seems a little bit all over the place today, this review, if I do say so myself, because I felt that this chapter, in a sense, was all over the place. It does, if that makes any kind of sense. Anyways, guys, I believe I've rambled on enough. I hope you guys have enjoyed the chapter review. It's your boy Shin Megami X, aka Captain X. I'm signing out. And as always, my people, take care and peace. Keep it 100.